Right 10 Cents Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Brown. I'm sitting in the Kanka Motorsports studio, and Adam could not be bothered to come to the Kanka Motorsports studio for the second week in a row.
It's not what happened, Robbie.
No, I've been sitting here every night for like 2 weeks, just like, I'm ready for a podcast.
I'm trying not to get you sick, Robbie.
I appreciate
I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So, just a quick on that one. My son has been sick all week.
Last week, too. Wasn't he sick last week?
Well, he had a little bit of a runny nose second half of the week.
Oh, yeah, you were just super,
this week
super busy.
he was, yeah, I had a bunch of dumb shit going on at work last week, so I just didn't have time.
Yeah.
But my son was sick, and Katie took him to the doctor, and the doctor was like, yeah, this isn't a cold, it's something else. He needs COVID tested. Fucking sweet. Like, I've gone a year and a half of this pandemic, not brought the fucking COVID virus home.
Yep.
And now he's going to pick it up at school or some bullshit, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So, we got his COVID result back yesterday. It is negative.
Good.
But whatever he has passed on to me and Katie.
Oh.
So while it's not COVID, I still feel like garbage. My nose is still running real bad. I still have a super sore throat, and I decided it was best to stay home and not bring it to Robbie. Yeah.
That is one thing, that's a silver lining that I kind of like about the pandemic, that people are like, I'm sick. I'm just not going to do that. And then
I've always felt like coming to work sick is a fireable offense.
Yeah. No, like if you're like should be on the couch all day sick, don't come to work.
You're not as effective at work as you would normally be.
Yep.
And if you get anybody else sick, you're just costing more productivity and bringing it to other people. Like, just stay home, man.
Yeah. Take the day off.
Flatten the curve.
Yep.
As they say.
No, I hope that sticks around. That's one thing I appreciate. That's kind of come out of it. And then, like, if people are like legitimately sick in public, I hope the mask wearing sticks around for that. Not like the general public, like everyone wearing one, but like if you're sick and you're in public and you're wearing a mask, that's like a selfless thing to do, and I appreciate that.
Well, that's why doctors wear masks.
Yeah.
It's not so they don't pick up whatever you have. It's so that if they have something themselves, they don't give it to you.
Yeah, and so, like, I mean, it's a thing in Japan that's like been part of culture since forever over there. Because I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm not expert on Japanese culture, but it's like it's like super, it's like they don't want to do something to somebody else as like a rude thing, and it's like, that'd be great to pick that up here in America, to have it not be, I'm sick, I'm not going to get you sick, so I'll wear a mask.
Well, I know we have here in Ames, it's a pretty large college town, and there's a pretty decent number of foreign students, Japanese students specifically, and or even Chinese, I guess, I'm not sure, Asian of some sort. Yeah. That's terribly racist, and I apologize. But they've been a lot of times, especially like the height of cold and flu season, you'll see them walking around in the grocery stores with masks on. It's just part of what
it was always forever. That way. Yeah. Like, I remember going to Iowa State my first year, right out of high school, I guess out of college the first time. And seeing that, I was like, why are they wearing masks? Oh, it's because they're sick, or someone, they don't want to get sick. I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, whether I want to do it or not, it makes sense. So whatever.
Anyways.
Fine. But we don't want to get into that.
No, because like someone's people are going to make it political, and then they're like, my freedom and blah, 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 blah. I don't want to fucking talk about it. Anyways.
Word.
But there is something I do want to talk about, and that is pit spikes and scooters from Tech Boss Company. So techbosscompany.com, TEKBOSS company.com. I've been riding mine around the yard still. Like,
you still have that?
I have the Mars, and then I still have the the 600 watt, the Mototech Freeride. I have that.
Freeride.
Yeah, so I got the Freeride. So if I'm working in the shop and then I notice that the mail has been delivered, I don't walk my lazy ass down to the end of the driveway. I take my scooter.
Estate life, you've got a pretty long driveway.
It's like a quarter of a mile.
That's justifiable.
Yeah, I'm not walking that. Plus, if the dog chases me, that's better exercise for the dog. It's just, that's a win-win.
You're doing it for him.
Yeah, it's exactly. But yeah, no, I really like I really like the 600 watt. I think that's kind of the go-to for most people. I think
for our group, the most like the track going enthusiast, that's exactly the one you need.
Yep. I was not a fan of the Mars. I thought it was too big. I can see why people would enjoy it, like from an off-roading standpoint, but like for anything I'm going to use it for, I couldn't get my head around it.
It's a beast mode off-road.
48 volt, 2,500 watts, big meaty tires, but it's big and heavy, and so yeah, you almost need to have like that specific for like an off-roading reason. Everything else was like, for me, it's like just pit bike stuff, so the small ones work just fine.
Right.
But anyways, if you want your scooter for your next race event or even just around the yard, like if you want a four-wheeler or a go-kart, they have those as well. That's tekbosscompany.com. Use the code 1010 podcast to check out. You get 10% off. I think it's 10% off.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
now
10%.
I'm questioning myself.
That one's 10%.
10% off.
That one's 10%. Petrol Box is 15%.
Yep.
And I don't even remember what Apex is.
It's the free window mount when you get a Gen 2, and we'll get there.
Okay.
But yeah, so if you want scooters, pit bikes, stuff like that, techbosscompany.com. So Adam.
Yeah.
Did you see that I fixed the sign?
I did. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jabay and the Club TR guys will really appreciate that as well.
I thought about making it look more permanent so that people would be like, dude, he fucked up that sign. But I didn't.
That's too far, Robbie.
Yeah, I wasn't going to actually do it. I wanted to make it look like I did.
That's still too far.
I just put a 1010s podcast over the Slip Angle podcast. So it says 1010s podcast, by drivers, for drivers podcast.
We got to take that back next week.
Yeah, I know. Oh, God. I forgot. Like, that's next week. I better not forget that.
Yeah, that's next week.
That'd be bad. That'd be real bad if I forgot that. Yeah, it's a joke. I took it for a week and then...
We need to have a discussion in our group chats about when people are going where and stuff like that so we can figure out all that, the logistics.
Yeah, because my plans changed yesterday, so I'm going.
Oh.
But, like, everyone I was caravanning with are not going, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah. People can get sick, man. It's the Rona.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm super bummed about that.
I know.
He's not going to make it.
Doesn't look like it.
Booney was going to bring the NPO one.
Yep, we had talked him into it, and
he was going to come time attacking.
Yeah, I thought he was like looking at tires, and he's like getting all this. We were talking about it and making plans because he was bringing the family, and then the next day he texts me, "Yeah, I'm sick, ain't going." Great.
Fuck.
Yep.
Bet his kid brought it home too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Germ factories, Robbie. That's all they are.
Kids are germ factories.
That's all they are, is germ factories.
By the way, Dusty referring to his kid getting sick from daycare as kennel cough is the funniest fucking thing I've had all week. I didn't like make a big deal out of it in the chat. Like I didn't know how to respond to it, but I was laughing out loud at work. And then still, days later, I'm still laughing about the fact that he called it kennel cough.
I mean, it's fair.
It's accurate. You go to daycare, you get your kennel cough just like your dogs.
I was doing some work across the street from a daycare, and last week I think it was, and there was like 15 kids lined up against the fence, just staring at us, watching us work. It was hilarious.
Like you're the zoo animals.
Yeah, I guess. Except they're the ones in the cage.
Yeah, but that's how a proper zoo should be. The humans should be in the cages watching the animals.
That's fair. You're not wrong.
Yeah, so that's
I don't even totally. Yeah,
that's a natural. That's a natural way to do it.
It's like hiding in a bird blind.
Yeah,
they have those at Sailorville Lake. You can hide in those bird blinds and watch birds come by.
Yep.
I like that. That's good. That's the way it should be. You're right. So
yeah, so it doesn't look like Booney's going to make it to Road America. I was really excited about that.
That really bums me out because I was super pumped to make fun of him on the live stream. He was going to do time attack. He was in the super unlimited class. Yep. It was going to be great.
Yep. I don't know. We'll see if things change in the next week, but yeah, it doesn't look likely.
Bummer, dude.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed because the Z was going to go in Lori, and I was going to take the NPO one in my trailer.
Oh, I was wondering how that was going to work.
Yep, because the way that his lorry set up doesn't have, it's not set up to have the MPO1 fit in it yet because it's just so tall. And
yeah,
but we can fit it in my trailer. Then the Z can fit in the lorry. Yeah, we had it all figured out.
I was wondering if he was going to steal Josh Jones's open trailer and pull the NPO1 on the open.
No way,
because that would be awesome.
I understand it would be awesome, but no, that'd be bad.
No way, dude! It'd be sweet.
Oh, it'd be such a pain. He couldn't go anywhere.
Why not?
Because then he looks like he's flexing all the normies, and then he has to stop at every gas station.
He is flexing on all the normies. That's the point, Robbie. Enclosed trailers should have a plexiglass panel on them so you can see what's in there.
I don't disagree.
Back in the day.
I don't disagree with that at all.
You know what? Like, I hate them driving down the road and I say, oh, there's a stacker. I wonder what's in there. I'll never fucking know, Robbie.
Yep. It's super common that I'll be driving east and I'll see that whatever Ferrari out of Chicago and their hauler.
Yeah, their Ferrari Challenge hauler.
Not that. There's like it's like a, I don't know if it's a double or a triple enclosed trailer and it says, Ferrari of whatever fancy rich place. And then there's a fancy car going due west out of Chicago, and I always want to know what's in there.
Well, I've seen it more than once. I've seen a semi rig that's a Ferrari Challenge team that's got 2 or 3 cars in it, and going to the next race. I don't know where it comes out of, but I've seen it more than once.
Yep.
And then because SCCA runoffs is at Indy right now, here the last week or two, I've seen a couple of vehicles running that way, and I saw one that said Dublin Mazda on it, Dublin Mazda Racing Team.
Yep.
And then Dublin, California. So I Facebook stalked them and found it's a Mazda dealership that has a small race team. I assume the guy that owns the dealership. And he's got what looks like I don't remember what class it was, but it's a pretty wild FD RX-7 that was in that trailer on its way to Indy that I just saw motoring down the interstate. So,
yeah, but so you're saying he needed a plexiglass, so you didn't have to
if he had a plexiglass, I wouldn't have to do all that work.
Yeah, but then that adds an hour every time you stop at a gas station.
That's part of bringing more people in, Robbie.
Fair. Well, even having the Z on the open trailer on the way to Pikes Peak, somebody said something at every gas station. Oh, where are you going? It doesn't matter to you, Pikes Peak. I'm just going to Pikes Peak. It's not going to make a damn bit of difference.
The thing I hear is how fast is it? It's a stock 350Z.
Fucking slow, man.
It's not that fast. It makes
if I hit 120, it's a good day. That's
makes 302 to the wheels or whatever it is. It's
not that fast. 240, but it's an exponential. It's an exponential curve. So it's there's some power. 240, and then it just falls off. Yeah, that's what's annoying in GLTC. Everyone's got these flat tunes. It's from 3,000 RPM to 6,000 RPM. It's 220 horsepower. And then mine goes 100, 150, 200, 240, 0. It's for the entire RPM band, I got jack shit. And then everyone else has double. It's not fair. Why can't
I don't know what to tell you, Robbie?
I got a mail-in tune. It's my own fault. No one does uprev here. I will this winter, but no one does uprev locally. So I got to take it to Sioux Falls and have them do it, even though they don't actually do uprev. They would do it for me. I'd have to bring all the stuff, or I could go to Omaha to a shop I don't know, or Kansas City to a shop I don't know.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one around here has an uprev.
I almost had the guys at Off the Line talked into it. And I think if I'd buy the stuff and just bring it in, they'd do it. But unless I have somebody, unless I rent the dyno and have somebody remote tune it, locally it's not really an option. So it's super annoying.
That surprises me because it's not it's an unpopular platform.
No, and that's kind of what Justin was kind of talking out loud, thinking there's a lot of 350Zs. Granted, it's only
a lot
for
of Gs, a lot of 350s.
The problem is it's only for that first gen engine. Anything with a newer engine can do HP tuners or all these other ones, and so yeah.
Well, then you just need to put an HR in there and be done with it, Robbie.
Exactly. Then I'd have more torque. It'd just be better all around.
You're just wasting your time putting up or doing the up rev stuff with the engine you got.
Just go to a standalone. That's not a problem.
Should just put an LS in it.
Yeah, but
then you could have that flat too, Robbie.
But Japé's going to outlaw it anyways. It's fine. It's fine. He's going to make it so that you have to have a really shitty torque curve like mine, and then everyone's in the same boat. It'd be nice. Isn't that how rules work? He makes it so that one car is super advantageous?
I think that's the opposite of what rules are supposed to do.
I'm pretty sure that's how rules work.
No, well, I mean, it is, but it's not how it's supposed to work. I mean, clearly, GLTC, it's the same guy running away with it every single week, every single race. So clearly, there's an advantage in those rules somewhere. But
yeah, you watch the live stream, it's the same winner all the time.
Yeah, it's the same people. It's the same three guys.
Yeah.
They're K-Series S2000s.
Wait, that was 2 years ago.
They were Miatas.
Oh, yeah. But anyways, before we jump into the surprise that you have, got to remind everyone to head over to factoryfabrication.com to get caged or railed. If you want to get rails for your houses or your commercial business or your patio or your deck or your wine cellar or a cage in your
wine
car.
cellar. Robbie, you got something to tell me?
I don't like wine.
Oh, that's true. It'd be kind
I
of
like grape
juice. House, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I could have a grape juice cellar.
That would be hilarious.
A sparkling water cellar.
You got like one of those giant mead barrels, like one of those huge, like 6 foot tall barrels full of hoppy refresher.
Okay,
and
now
a bunch of
in.
Glass bottled grape juice.
Yeah. Oh, the other day I was at Randy's changing tires for Road America, and he's like, "Hey, you want a drink?" I'm like, "Sure." And he like pulls up, goes over to his keg and like pops it over, and he's like, "Here, have this." I'm like, I don't drink. No, this is a ginger ale that I made. And he's like, I like crushed grapes in it too. And I was like, it was fucking delicious.
Really?
It was delicious. I couldn't believe it.
That's a strange move for Randy.
Yeah, so Randy's got like a kegerator, and one side is his homemade beer, and then the other side is a homemade soda that he makes, and it happened to be a ginger ale with like grapes that he put in it. It might be the best soda I've had in forever.
I suppose it makes sense because he's got kids.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, if you're ever over here, it's this one. I'm like, I might just be coming over here just because. Just steal this and leave. It was so good. Don't
mind me, Randy. Don't mind me. I'm just coming in here and grab
I don't need
some ginger ale.
Yeah, I don't need the tire machine today. I'm just stealing a red Solo cup and some ginger ale.
Hit me up when he makes some root beer.
Oh, I bet he could. I bet a lot of the guys that I work with that brew their own beer make their own root beer.
Yeah, it's a thing, for sure.
That's something you should do in your wine cellar made by Factory Fabrication.
I don't have time for that sort of thing, Robbie.
Nah, it's once it's set up, it just runs itself, right?
I don't think that's true.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Chaz tried to make some of that crap in my house when he lived with me, and I don't know. It never seemed all that successful.
Homemade beer or root beer?
No, beer.
Yeah, I think that has like a couple extra steps. I think soda and root beer and stuff would be easier.
I haven't the slightest clue.
But you gotta have you just show up with like a pound of sugar and like some stuff, and then you just throw it all in, and then it's done in no time. I have no idea.
I don't think it's that easy.
No, it's probably not. But it was delicious. But anyways, factoryfabrication.com. If you need to have a custom wine cellar or bookshelf or entertainment center or furniture, basically, if you can think of it in your house that you need it and it's made out of wood or metal or other exotic materials, I bet he's got you covered. Factoryfabrication.com. Use code 10tenths. It'll get you nothing, but he'll at least know where you came from.
Did you go with him and meet a famous skateboarder?
Yeah, Mike Vallely.
Did you actually meet him?
Yeah, like kind of in passing. Like, there's no way he'd remember me. He was kind of in the middle of running this.
Were you all like rollerblade or die?
No, not to Mike. I was to Booney and Josh Jones though.
Okay, that's
because they're all like, man, these guys are getting so high. Like, because they were at the skate shop out in front of Subsec.
Yeah, they were doing
downtown.
like a street. They were doing like a street style competition because Des Moines doesn't have one of the most prestigious world-class skate parks in the world right now.
It's the best skate park in the world, but
it's the largest public concrete park in the country.
Yes. So Yeah, we were at Mike Vallely's or Subsect skate shop, and they had like the whole block shut down. So had, like the Red Bull guys were there, and basically they had a handful of ramps, like a wall ride section, and like they're basically just doing like a jumper over like a trash can or whatever. And granted, I mean they were skating really well. It was a cool competition. It was fun to watch. Yeah. But like, you know, Jones and Booney were talking about like how high they were getting, how hard their tricks were, and I'm obviously poking the bear the entire time. I was like, where are the real ramps? Where are the rails? Yeah. Like where? Like did like
if there was a rail there, they only used the last 6 inches of it anyway.
How are we going to land 900s and 1080s and double backflips and all those other fun tricks on these little dinky ramps? So I just kept poking them the whole time. I mean, it was super fun. I had a good time, and it was fun watching like the elite skateboarders out of Iowa compete. But yeah, obviously as a rollerblader, I was poking the skateboarders. But yeah, met Mike V in passing because Booney talked to him because Booney made the best. Oh gosh, what was it? The best trick trophy for them,
which was like a full-sized sign.
Yeah, yep. So that was cool. Kind of cool to see like all these, you know, like companies come together, friends, and now Mike V.
Was there anybody that you remembered from back in our?
Yeah,
day?
like all the Ames guys.
There's some familiar faces there still.
Marcus,
so those guys are still out there killing it.
Yep, Marcus Savage was there. He was in he was in the top 5. God, I can't remember the other guys' names, but I recognize a lot of the guys that were from Ames. Yeah, a lot of the guys from Ames. Marcus Savage is obviously the one that stuck out the most because he's
the steeziest dude on the planet.
Yep. Yeah, he was skating really well. Yeah, it was kind of cool to see all the guys that we used to skate with.
Yeah, it is cool to hear that those guys are still out there.
Yep,
killing it.
Yep. So yeah, they did the smaller competition from the skate shop on Thursday. Friday they did some street stuff, and then they skated at Legion Skate Park, which is right down the block from my work, which is also a really cool park they just rebuilt. And then they did a big competition at the new Lordston skate park downtown, and then that was all day Saturday. But I didn't make it to those.
Cool.
Yep.
So I have an opener, but before I do that, I have a box. I have a box that was hand delivered.
Like they showed up at your house and just like left it.
Yeah, at like midnight.
Don't worry, that's not sketchy at all.
Katie was really upset about it the next morning. There's people outside our house right now. Like, no, it's fine, Katie. Fine. Don't worry about it. But Robbie's got me a little concerned about the contents of said box.
It's probably not anthrax.
I don't know. I know it's a t-shirt because he asked me what t-shirt size I wear.
That could be to throw you off his scent.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
I think I know there's a couple it's fine. People
he messed
involved.
Up because this box has his address on it, so
good.
Can't be too weird.
Is there like a letter or a note?
Nope, just says to Adam on the top of the box, and it's taped up with painter's tape.
Okay.
So it came from Jamie, who I've never met, but is a local. Apparently bought a scooter from Don. So, nice. But yeah, let's find out what's in here, I guess.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
He specifically asked me to not open this until I was on the show with you.
Well, I feel like I just got thrown under the bus.
At the time, I just thought that was, just do it on the show.
Yeah.
But now I feel like there's more to it.
I feel like there was a handful of conversations I had that have led to this. I'm not actively involved, but I feel like I gave information.
Where did these conversations happen?
The Facebook.
In the group?
No, I was sent private messages.
God damn it,
Robbie! I didn't lift a finger, for the record. If this is what I think it is,
I feel uncomfortable about this now.
I was not actively involved.
Okay, so there's multiple T-shirts in here.
I was asked questions and I gave answers.
Oh, Jesus Christ! There's more than one T-shirt in here.
What size? Are they all yours?
I don't know. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. You can have this one if you want it, for sure.
Are they all the same or are they all different?
It's got my name on the front of it.
That's nice.
And God damn it. You sons of bitches.
What is it?
It's got my last name on the top spelled correctly, which I really appreciate.
That is nice.
And then it says the voice of international,
the international voice of time
attack.
That's awesome.
God damn it. And then there's another one here. Let's see what this one is. Oh, jeez. So on the front, it says LaCroix boy.
LaCroix boy. That kind of goes the other direction than I was expecting.
Yeah. And on the back, it says this water stuff is getting out of hand, which...
Well, true.
It's an absolutely true statement. Oh, God.
It's just those two?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't really have a whole lot.
Should there have been more?
No. Surely there's not more coming.
Why are you doing this to me, Robbie?
I didn't do it. I just answered questions that I was asked.
You're involved in this.
I am not. I didn't spend a penny. I didn't lift a finger.
You lifted multiple fingers to type.
I was politely responding to questions I was asked to the best of my abilities.
Jesus Christ. You guys are the most ridiculous human beings. I love all of you.
I'm really happy about the International Voice of Time Attack shirt, though. I like that.
I don't hate this LaCroix boy shirt. I'm not totally opposed to that one. The International Voice of Time Attack one I like less.
Yeah, because that implies that you think that that it's serious and that you feel that way, and we know that's not true.
Yeah.
But
I kind of like the LaCroix boy one. That one's funny to me. I enjoy a lot.
I thought for sure it'd say LaCroix hater. I was not expecting it to say LaCroix boy.
Well, that's kind of funny though. It rhymes. Although this says this water shit's getting out of hand on the back of it, in quotes even.
A very true statement.
You guys are hilarious. I love it.
That's pretty good. I thought there was.
Thank
more
you,
to
Jamie, for that. I'm still a little confused how this all came together, but
me too.
Well, because they are the size I told him. He asked me my shirt size.
Yep.
And then delivered them to me that day.
Does he have a printer?
I don't know. This box has an address, a return shipping address from a shirt store.
Or maybe he just bought
Illinois.
Did he just buy the shirts at wholesale and then print them at home?
I don't know. Maybe.
It'd be way smarter than how we do it. Without, don't have to drop ship. Save money.
I don't know. Then we'd have to ship them though.
Yeah, but time is free, Adam. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, but dude, if you're gonna, you are painfully well aware of the fact that if
I have no interest in that,
you have to rely on me to get you something, it's not going to get there on time. It just won't.
Yeah, it happens.
It took me like 8 months to ship stickers to James.
Yep. Me too.
So, yeah. But anyway,
I'll be honest.
I appreciate
based on the conversations I had, I thought there was more coming than that. So it might not be over.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't do any of it. I was asked who would be a good person to create designs and some ideas, and I'm like, well, I can do none of that. I have none of those skills. I have no part in this. But where it went from there is not in my control.
Oh, Robbie. I don't even know. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine.
It's
Robbie.
fine.
Everything's
It's fine.
Oh, my nose is killing me. Like extra bad this week.
And it's not just because of allergies either.
The sickness.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep that over there.
Yeah. Anyway, my actual opener topic. This is a half-formed thought that maybe you can help me make into a fully formed thought.
Sure.
So I was kind of thinking about it one day when I was 5 years old, when I was a little kid, much like my son is now. I was thinking about this. My dad was already deep in the throes of like restoring cars.
Yes.
And as a small child, I remember him being really into first gen Firebirds, which is 67 through 69 Firebirds. And so I called him one day and I asked him, like, what year was the first year roughly that you remember actually purchasing a Firebird and restoring it, not like modifying it, turning it into a race car, whatever, but like returning it to nearly factory condition.
Yep.
And then, like putting the car back together again. And he said, I don't know, probably like 85 or so. And so the car's a 68. That would have made it like 27 years, right? Is my math right there? An 85?
For an engineer, I'm terrible at math in my head.
Right? Super terrible at math in my head.
I can do a math that's an entire page long, but as soon as I have to like do it in my head, nope, struggle. 87 to 68 is what you're saying?
It's only 16 years.
Yeah.
So those cars were 15 to 20 years old at that point and already being restored and resold as classics.
Yeah, yeah.
My Cavalier or my Blazer was a 98. That's still my daily driver.
Yep.
I drive that to and from work every day. And like, there's a lot of cars still on the road that are 15 to 20 years old that people still drive every single day that they're using as just regular old cars.
Right.
Even cars like similar in, like, you see people daily beating fourth gen Camaros and Firebirds, which would have been the same type of car, that are that old already. Yeah, there's a few people out there kind of restoring them, but they're still being used as regular vehicles. And to me, I don't know why, but it's just interesting to me, kind of fascinating to me that the cars came so far in such a short period of time that a car that was already a basket case and needed restoration in the 80s,
mm-hmm.
that a car that today that was made an equivalent length previously can still be used as a regular everyday grocery getter.
Right. Or that you don't like, nobody even looks at it and thinks that's a classic Camaro. No,
right.
that's a fourth gen Camaro, and it's
like your
recent.
240. Your 240 was almost twice that age.
Right.
My Omni is 37 years old.
Yeah. That one's finally, is that Good Guys legal now?
Yeah, because they changed the rules.
Yep.
It's been Good Guys legal for 2 or 3 years now.
Gotcha.
I think they moved it from 79 to 87, I want to say.
Oh, really? They went that far?
Yeah, they made a big jump.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that far. I thought it was like a couple of years, and you just slipped under the.
Nope, it was a big jump.
Huh.
So technically, the first year of Omni was 79. So I could have gone out and found a 79, or I could have just, this one is a 79 if I wanted to be that guy, because people did that.
Of course they did.
Not with Omni specifically, but with other cars that like they made them from like say 78 to 81, and people are coming in there with 80 or 81s and like, oh no, it's legal. Like, no, it's not, man. But whatever.
Come on, man. I know that headlight. So, it's an 81 headlight we just put in.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's 87 now. So there's, it's like halfway through the Fox body production run.
That's our age, basically.
That is my age. I was born in 1987.
89.
Yeah.
We're classic.
So I don't know why. I just it's interesting to me that cars have changed. The way that we use cars has changed that dramatically in that short of time.
Yeah, and I also think that the way we like look at cars and the way just the way we like just cars in general, like just you don't look at a 94 or 90 whatever Camaro and think, yeah, that's a classic Camaro worth restoring. You just don't.
No,
but then
there are a few people that are fixing them up But generally speaking, you don't see somebody grabbing no one's grabbing a 2000 Firebird, or like the one that Dalton just bought and sold at during our Mid Ohio shenanigans. That was a 2001.
Yep.
So that car's 20 years old.
Right.
And that car could have been, I mean, it was pretty rusty, but that car could have been that, but that's not what happened with it. Nobody was looking, nobody who considered buying that car from that person was looking at it going, I want to buy that car and restore it to showroom condition.
Right.
Nobody who's buying those cars is doing that. They might buy them and fix them up, but they don't restore them. They're fixing them and modifying them at the same time.
Yeah, they have a clear goal in mind that isn't specific to that car.
They're building a drag car. They're building whatever a fun car of some kind, but they're not. Nobody buys those cars and restores them to take them to car shows.
Right. No,
you go to car shows and you see factory original ones.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's just interesting to me. It's strange, and there's some people that, but have you ever seen anybody restoring a 240SX to factory condition?
That's kind of, I wouldn't say it's a thing, but yeah, there are 240SX aficionados that are and it's not the American version. It has to be the JDM version. It's people go fucking nuts for a JDM stock 1995 240SX or 90, probably more closer to a 98 because they were less common.
Right, but they're looking at cars that are in decent condition today. No one's buying basket cases and restoring them to factory shape.
No, those get a cage and get drifted.
Yeah,
and the Drifty Boys have all but destroyed them.
And that was happening when my dad was doing that stuff too.
Yeah, of course.
But there were also people buying them and fixing them.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone specific. Maybe I'm just not aware of them. But it's. I mean, you got the ones that want a super clean JDM one, but I don't know of anyone that's taken a 96 American Nissan 240 and then bringing it back to showroom quality.
Right. But I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it's a thing.
I'm sure there's people. There's people that are diehard Festiva guys. People, there's a niche market for every car.
Yeah, there's an enthusiast market for just about everything out there. There's a guy who lives down the street from me that has, I don't know, 8 or 10 Saturn SLs.
Huh. What's that car? Dusty sent us that picture. It's a house full of the Morenos. They had a bunch of Morenos or PT Cruisers. It was something it was just why would you have that many of them? But
my neighbor at one point, when they first bought the house that they're living in, my right next door neighbor here, his wife had a Fiat 500 Cabrio.
Yep.
And apparently they really liked that car because 6 or 8 months into them living here, a second one showed up, and that was his daily driver for a while. And they were into 500s.
Yep.
But they weren't Fiat 500 club.
No.
They weren't doing Fiat 500 cruises. They just happened to have 2 cabrios.
Right. It just seems as a society we've accepted you have the real old vintage cars, which would be the pre 1950 and earlier, and then you have the classic muscle cars from the 60s and 70s, and then everything after that you just kind of trails off into it's not a collector's item, and it's not until you get to exotics and stuff, but anything more recent than that, even if it's 25 years old, no one looks at a car and thinks that's a classic Nissan.
Well, I mean, when you look at Bring a Trailer and stuff like that, there's value to those cars. They're becoming collector items,
but they are,
but only original ones,
right? Yeah,
no one's in the 80s. I bet people were. My dad was buying and parting out and Firebirds and Camaros and all that stuff, and you could buy he's told me stories about trading cases of beer for shells,
yep.
you know, and stuff like that, which is just not a thing anymore. But now you can buy all that sheet metal as reproduction parts. No one's building that stuff for anything. Like, you can't, you know, the Miata came out in 89. So you can get a 30-year-old Miata now.
Right.
Nobody's making reproduction fenders for a Miata, but you can buy reproduction fenders for 89 Grand Ams or Grand Prix, probably. Excuse me, Grand Prix. You know, G-body cars that are the same age, but nobody's making it. It's like some of those American cars have achieved that classic car status where companies will make parts for them.
Yep.
But for some reason, the Japanese and even European cars have kind of gotten left out of that.
Yeah, Nissan kind of is going that way with some of their stuff. Like, but again, it's like focus on the GTR, which was already a sought-after car to begin with.
Right.
You get to like a price threshold, and that's when the people start to collect them and restore them. But like until you get to that price point, like no one really cares. And it's like realistically, it's like around the $50,000 mark. Like if it didn't cost $50,000 to start, no one's restoring it.
Right. I don't know. I just think it's curious, you know, that like every car I own is that age almost. The newest thing I own right now is a 07.
So yeah, the Z's an 04. That's not new by any stretch.
Not anymore.
It's a classic car.
It's nearly 20 years old.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if I say to you, hey, I'm going to go to a classic car show this weekend, what year do you think most of the cars are going to be?
70s and earlier. That's what you think of.
That's exactly what a classic car
right
show
off the top of it. But those have been classic cars since the 90s.
They've been classic cars our entire lives.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same cars. That's why I hate going to those shows now.
Yep.
That's why I could not care less about seeing another Tri-5 Chevy or another first-gen Camaro because I've seen 100 million of them.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's just an interesting thing.
Yeah, it'll be besides like the bring a trailer one of ones, the one that was kept in a vault its whole life.
Oh, it's got 1,000 miles on it. It still has the factory wheels and tires and
it is kind of curious how our culture in general just went like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore with anything. Like after 1970, that's it. Like those are the classic ones. Those are the ones we restore. Everything else is just fits into this other category that we don't really do that with.
But I wonder if that'll ever swing.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think we are kind of seeing where cars are going to be more niche-y, where people are going to want a car for a specific reason. Because, in general, the culture is going, you have, like, a car that gets you from point A to point B. And that's, your boring crossovers that are a dime a dozen, that they all look the fucking same, and everyone's got one. And then I think you're gonna start seeing more of these like cars that are designed specifically for something in mind, whether it's a collector or like a race car type thing. And I think you are going to see that more of a divide. And I think that's my prediction of the future is that you're going to have like, again, more of these boring ass cars that everybody has that just you push a button and it gets you to your job and you don't even think about it. And then you have more of these niche cars, and I think that it'll go like more extreme on other end, opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
But if we continue to require all this extra safety stuff for those extremes, I don't think it really matters, because if you have $10,000 worth of safety and government mandated whatever's, you can only go so far with the design.
Well, I think newer cars are definitely going to be more throwaway than even the ones I have now that are 20 years old that I still drive.
Yeah, for sure.
Like my Audi, which is 20 years old now too.
Yep.
But when I had it, there was a lot of parts underneath the hood that were made out of plastic that should not have been.
Yeah.
For longevity reasons, like elbows and stuff like that in the coolant systems. The tube that went down to the block for the oil dipstick.
Yeah.
that was made out of plastic, and it came up between runners on the intake manifold, which, I mean, is not the hottest thing in the car, hopefully, but I mean, it ran right up the block and came right up out between two of the intake manifold runners. And one day I changed the oil in it and then went to check and make sure I had enough oil in it. And when I pulled the dipstick tube out, when I pulled the dipstick out, the tube came with it.
Yep.
And the car had to sit in my the old shop that a couple of buddies and I rented for like 2 or 3 days while I waited for a new one to come. Now somebody makes one that's made out of aluminum.
Good.
Somebody makes all those things now, because if you touch it, it's going to explode and you have to buy a new one.
Yep.
But it's like, this is dumb, and that was a 20-year-old car. It's gotten way worse now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Plastic, everything.
Yeah. I think there's a European, I don't remember who it is. There's some European car, like performance car even. I want to say it was a Porsche maybe. I could be wrong, but I guess they use some sort of plastic oil pan, essentially.
Oh yeah, I want to say it was an Audi.
Maybe it was. I don't remember. That's terrifying.
I remember that conversation because we talked about it on the show, like back when Michael was on the show. I do remember that conversation, and it's
going to go through heat cycles.
Yeah, that's a dumb idea.
Yeah, and someone's going to bottom it out. That car is not built to last beyond its warranty period.
No.
Cars are going to become throwaway things more so than they ever were before.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it's a weird world we live in.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's interesting that people are like how differently cars are treated today as they were when I was a little kid.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of times I don't know why, but a lot of times I'll think about like what I was doing when I was my kid's age and what my dad was doing when I was my kid's age.
Yep.
Like I'll compare where I'm at with, I mean, you can't help it.
Of course.
Right. And I don't know, that was just a thought I had in my mind. Like, man, when I was Logan's age, my dad was already like buying, selling, restoring, fixing, constantly moving through cars.
Yeah.
In a very different manner than almost anybody does today.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely different.
So, yeah.
Anyways, well, I'll remind everybody to head over to Petrobox, mypetrobox.com, to sign up for your monthly box. It's basically a present to yourself. Then you get all sorts of car care products, T-shirts, just car memorabilia, dog leashes, stuff like that. It's cool stuff. And then, once a month, they have a drawing, and then someone gets a set of Rotiform wheels, which, of course, we aren't involved in because that'd look bad if we won wheels and we're also partners. So we don't get that luxury.
Be mad about it.
No, I'd be super pumped about it, but
yeah,
that's for the listeners and the people that get the boxes. I got mine it's been a couple weeks already because we haven't done a show. Got one the other day, and it had glass cleaner that I needed. It was kind of perfect timing. It's weird how that works. So I'm like, shit, I'm using Windex like a normie, and it sucks. And then like 2 days later, my Petrobox shows up with glass cleaner in it. Good glass cleaner. I think it was Jack's Wax this month because they've had Adams polishes in the past, and I think it was Jack's Wax. That sound right? Yeah. But anyways, all sorts of good stuff every month. It's like high quality stuff like Adams polishes, Jack's Wax, their own custom designed shirts. And then they partner with stuff. I think I don't know if it's next month or this month. They were partnering with Hoonigan again, so I think that box is gonna be really cool. So everything about it definitely.
I didn't notice that. That's cool.
They posted it on. Oh, it's one of their advertisements on like Facebook and stuff. So I think
he's an Audi boy now.
Ken
Block.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
I guess it's okay. But anyways, mypetrobox.com, use the code TTP15, get 15% off your first box or anything that's currently available in the store, which is basically all of the car care products, including mechanics gloves and all the like cleaning stuff I keep ranting and raving about. So if you want to save a bunch of money there, get it cheaper than anywhere else, use our code. They're happy. We're happy. It's great. Everybody wins. mypetrobox.com.
Robbie,
I did things.
You sold some stuff.
I did.
You did it.
Yep.
I want to say I'm happy, but I'm actually a little disappointed.
Before I get there, I do want to say one thing about my pick them up truck.
Oh,
so you know how the 2008.
Oh,
so you know how they have the 8-speeds are known for their shudder because it's a design fault. So like when the fluid starts to deteriorate, the whole car just does this.
It was worse than I expected it to be. Because I've never experienced it until we were going to Heartland.
Yeah, Heartland.
That was the first time I'd ever experienced it, and I was like, "Wow, that's
annoying."
I see. A lot of times, I always wonder if, like, is this just people complaining to complain, or is this is this a real problem? That's a real problem.
Yes, it's a real problem, and there's a lawsuit about it, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's like a noticeable thing.
Yep. So mine, I don't have a picture, of course, because I didn't really think about it, but yeah. So mine, I bought it with 60,000 miles, and then that's just a generic picture, not important. Anyways, bought it with about 60,000 miles. Of course, right as the warranty's starting to wear out, so it's kind of makes me a little nervous, but
like we were talking
2-year-old
about
truck.
Before.
Yeah, it was a 2-year-old truck. I'm like, it should be good. And didn't have the shudder, at least not that I noticed when I had it the first, few months. And it kind of, you're starting to notice it a little bit, and like you could kind of predict when it was going to do it. Mine was real bad at like 1,500 RPMs. It would like find a resonance, and like the whole car would just kind of like shake and shudder, and like you really feel it in the steering wheel, and then kind of like shake the whole truck. And then like if you went, like if I'm pulling down the interstate even with the trailer at like 70 miles an hour, you don't even notice it because it doesn't do it. But like as soon as you got to like that lower RPM, it would start to shudder a little bit more. And I think my understanding is that as a fluid gets contaminated or deteriorates or whatever, I mean it's supposed to be a sealed system, like a lifetime fluid type thing, and it obviously isn't. As it starts to break down, I think it creates like air pockets in the torque converter, and that's what the shudder is. Did I lose you? Okay.
No, I'm here.
You're good.
Not much to say about it.
Yep. No, I actually thought the screen froze.
Nope.
I didn't want to keep
sitting here.
I didn't want to keep doing it and then have to
listen.
Anyway, so it was getting to the point where I was kind of starting to be concerned about it. Went into and got it flushed and got new fluid in, and that's all it was. It fixed it. I got like literally like an hour of my time.
We haven't towed with it yet, but
no, towing was never the problem. It was actually way worse in the city without a trailer.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
It's that stop and go, red light to red light, not that fast driving.
That's what Joe King had said. Was kind of most people seem to get rid of it with a fluid change.
Yep, I've read online it, and some people complain like, "Oh, I came back with a vengeance," and but mine seems like he's even like the service manager that I was talking to. He's like, "Okay, now don't have any knee jerk reactions. Give it a couple 100 miles to kind of like settle in, get the fluid where it needs to go, and kind of like and so if it kind of shifts funny or you still have the shudder, don't come back until at least a couple 100 miles." It seriously was like a brand new truck as soon as I left the lot.
That's awesome.
So I'm predicting that I'm just going to have to treat it like I did my RAV4. I changed the transmission fluid probably every 30,000 miles. Once it hit 250,000 miles, I just changed the fluid every 2 years.
Once it hit 250K.
Yeah, I mean it's still a new truck. It was a new RAV4. Went to 317, Adam.
Christ. At least, Robbie.
Yep. Yeah, it was still running when I sold it, so it could still be running. Yeah, so I assume that I'm just going to have to plan to replace this fluid. I highly doubt it was the original factory fluid. I'm betting that they changed it before I bought it, and then it deteriorated and then got shuddery again. So if I have to go, even if I do it every 20 to 30,000 miles, I could live with that. As long as
it's not the end of the world.
No, and because I brought in the coupon because they had one on their website, and like the 8-speed, it's a $400 oil fuel change or a fluid change. I'm like, that sucks. Because it takes like 20 quarts of fluid to do the flush. So it's seriously like $100 in labor, and then like the rest is fluid. Like it's not. I mean, it is what it is. So I went in like with my coupon. He's like, actually, you won't need that because from whatever reason the actual price is like $100 less than that. So it was like $300 an hour of my time, and it was all good. It was one of those things like I really considered buying the pump changer.
Yeah,
because like well, if I'm gonna have to do this multiple times, I might as well do it myself because I hate having somebody else to work on my car. It's like, no, that's $1,500. Then I got to deal with 20 quarts of fluid, and I still got to buy the fluid. Then I got to get rid of it. It's like, I'll just pay the $300 and bring it in every couple of years, and hopefully that's all it is. But yeah, it's like a brand new truck. So yeah, if you have an 8-speed and you have the shutter, just get the fluid changed, and it seems to be fine.
That reminds me of a thing I want to admit really quickly here. Yeah, you have to take away one of my man cards, Robbie. So literally last night, I got off of work kind of early yesterday, so we went and did some grocery shopping and shit like that, and I ran the Odyssey through one of those like drive-through oil change places,
like a quick lube or whatever,
because it's just not fucking worth doing it myself, Robbie.
Man, my condolences on losing your man card. This guy over here.
It's $30.
This guy
who cares?
This guy over here doesn't mow his lawn. He doesn't change his own oil.
Nope. I'll change oil in like if I had the Omni running again or whatever. I've changed oil in the Audi and all my fun cars. I've always done my own oil changes, but like in Katie's everyday like bumping around vehicle, like it's just not worth it.
See, I'm real particular with what oil I use.
Could not care less.
I'm real particular with what goes in the truck. I'm not particular with what goes in the Edge. I'm just consistent for the entire life of the entire life of the Edge. It has always gotten Motorcraft oil as Ford recommends, and you can get it dirt cheap at Walmart. So that's just what I do, and it costs me next to nothing. It takes me no time at all. And then the race car, obviously, I'm very specific on that too.
The LOF place, it's called Lube Oil Filter, LOF.
Yep.
They have like a good, better, best tier.
Yep.
Good. That's fine. Just throw it in there. I don't care. It's a Honda. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. If it doesn't have oil, thumbs up. We're good.
Yeah. That's where I'm at on it. Like, if it was a pickier car or something I was worried about or something that was old and like mildly difficult, then yeah, I'll spend a little more money and I'll do it myself. But like, it's a fucking Odyssey. Like, who cares? It's just not worth my time and effort.
No, because if I do,
we were in and out in 8 minutes.
Yep. I remember doing it in college one time. It was right before we took the RAV4 to Bitter Cold in Detroit. I got the oil change there, and I understand why people do it. I get it.
It's so cheap and it barely costs me more than what it would have cost me to buy the oil.
Yep.
And I don't have to dispose of it or spend time dealing with it in my driveway.
Yep. No, I get it.
It's totally worth it.
Yep. No, I understand that I'm very particular, and like I don't want to have to argue with the lube oil filter guy. And he's like, "No, I want to put 020 in your truck." I'm gonna say, "No, you're not. You're not putting 020 in my truck." And then we have to argue about that.
They can put whatever they want in it. I don't care.
I have to explain to them that I like my oil thick with 2 C's. 2 C's. Thick. 020 doesn't cut it.
Killing your gas mileage, Robbie.
I don't care about gas mileage. I want protection.
Parasitic loss.
I want protection. I want it thick.
It's fine.
Thick with 2 C's. Get that 020 garbage out of here.
They don't have an oil pressure gauge, so I don't care.
The Edge doesn't either. I'm always actually just like, it's been a long time since we changed the oil in the Edge. I'm like, you're right, it has been. And I pulled the thing, the dipstick out, and I look at it, I was like, that is fucking clear. But it had been a long time. It's a maintenance-free vehicle. It's unbelievable.
That's the way they should be.
Knock on wood. I don't want to. I don't want to have to do maintenance on that fucking car. Not but it's just because she wants to get something else. I'm like, I really don't want you to, because that car is like no headaches.
It's so rock solid. Other than the wheels and tires,
yep,
which you have sorted now.
I got that sorted.
It's been so rock solid.
It is thought free. I changed the brakes and suspension once, or struts once, and it's Yeah, you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Adam lost a man card. I changed my own oil. I mow my own lawn.
I don't mow my own lawn.
It would cost me way too much.
Dude, it's literally $12 to $15 a week for me.
Yeah, mine's...
It's not even worth the maintenance in my lawnmower.
Yeah, see, I'd have to like.
It'd be like $200 a week for you.
Yeah, it's 3 acres. It takes forever, and I'd have to have some like. I'd either have to pay someone to bring their own shit, or they still have to use mine. That's whatever.
It'd be somebody's part-time job mowing your lawn.
Yeah, it's my podcast time. That's like the only time I listen to podcasts is when I mow my lawn.
It's not worth it.
It takes like 2.5 hours.
He already had his mower unloaded to mow my neighbor's lawn, so
yeah, I get it. He
just does them both in one pass,
and it's small and quick and easy, and here's your $10 and see you later.
I just have him do the front. The back's like got so much tree cover, it doesn't grow very fast, so I hit that like once a month myself, and that's it.
Yeah, it takes like 10 minutes.
Yeah, when Logan's a little bit bigger, he's gonna do it himself.
That's right.
That's what children are for.
Yes, slave labor. I get it.
Yeah. So
still not in on the idea of children, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I sold the thing, and it was weird.
Like I said, I'm kind of I'm happy for you that you were able to get the money out of it, and that frees up some funds to do some other things. But I'm disappointed that it left.
I always wanted a GTO since they first came out in 2004.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't into like the old GTOs. I mean, I like them. I just never even considered buying one. It's just not my thing. But I remember when I was originally looking for the 240 or a car around 2007, 2006. The GTO had just came out, and they're starting to see them as rebuildables. Like people are wrecking them, and you could buy them. So I considered buying a rebuildable one, and that was where I was going to start with, like my car path or whatever. And ended up getting the 240SX.
Man,
instead.
can you imagine?
Yeah, how crazy would that have been?
Can you imagine? It would have been a real different place.
Yeah, it would have been a riced out, because I would have got like that drift bumper in the front, because I always thought that looked really good.
Yeah, but you might have ended up doing like straight line things.
No, maybe to start, but I don't see a scenario where I would have stayed there. You know what I mean?
It's hard to say though.
No, nah.
Think of the what ifs, Robbie.
Try not to. Slippery slope. But I always wanted a red GTO, and so when this popped up, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I'll trade you this, this 06 with the 6.0, and it's got fresh rebuild engine." Then ended up being a brand new transmission because he shelled out the one that was in it. It's like, yeah, we'll do that sight unseen, and I get it, and it's not in the. I mean, it's not perfect, and I knew it wasn't going to be, and I spent the summer driving it, and I cleaned it up, and I got a good tune on it, and because I mean, the guy that had replaced the engine or rebuilt the engine, replaced it, and then had been driving it. He'd been driving it like a year without any sort of like actual tuning on it. I mean, it's got like a cam, like a real big cam, and yeah, he didn't tune like anything on at the bottom end, so it wouldn't idle. Like it would try to find idle as if it had a stock cam, and obviously can't, because it needs to be at like 850 RPM minimum. So it would just sit there and idle surge like fucking crazy. And I don't know how he drove it that way for a year. I don't. So I brought it in and got tuned, and that fixed that, and just cleaned up a few things here and there and drove it all summer, and it was a good car. It was fun. And then a few weeks ago, a guy was messaging me asking about it, and we went back and forth, and sent a video of me walking around it, showing me revving it up, how it sounded. And it's like, yeah, I just wrecked mine, or got backed into, so I got an insurance check coming. I was like, well, would you take this for it? And I was like, yeah, I'll do that if you give me cash. Thinking,
was it a GTO that he had already?
Yeah, this car is his third GTO.
Oh, okay.
So, my ad was super honest. I described all the faults, all the weird quirks, things that I noticed that, like, I don't know if it's like a cam sync thing, but every once in a while you would turn the key over, it would sit in turn over, wouldn't start. You bump the key again, fires right up as if nothing was wrong. Couldn't recreate it, couldn't predict it, but it would just do it from time to time. And I described that in in the ad and just, pros and cons all the way down. So, I mean, he knew what he was getting. And we went back and forth, and he's like, yeah, the bank won't let me take all that money out at once, so I got to do it in a couple different chunks, and, which is a thing. So, we waited, and I was actually expecting him to come back and say, well, how about a cashier's check, or how about an online money transfer? That's why I said cash, thinking like, okay, well, if you're serious, you'll find a way to get me money, instead of just saying, yeah, sure. And then we have to argue over trades and other bullshit like I'd been doing all summer. So he says, no, I'll get you cash. Great. And then we go back and forth, and he's like, well, we could not find a weekend between me racing and then him with doing other stuff. Like, we couldn't find a weekend or a day that we were both free that we could meet, because he was in St. Louis. And I'm like, okay, how about this Friday? I'm free. I can take off from work, drive down to some little truck stop halfway between here and St. Louis, and agreed that we would meet there. And any time that I take a car to bring to someone else, the whole drive there, I'm assuming I'm getting set up, either to be murdered or to be stood up. I got stood up on a date one time, and I just assume that that's just what everyone's doing to me.
Robbie, that shows a lot about you.
I just assume the worst in people?
Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, I follow through on it just in case it's real, but like even with the 240, I'm like halfway, like the whole drive there, I'm like, this dude is playing the long game. This is a fucking con. He's got me hook, line, and sinker. And like this one, I didn't have the feelings quite so bad, but it was just like Jess was kind of sketched out about it, and she's like, "You're just gonna meet this stranger in a parking lot in a truck stop halfway in the middle of Missouri?" Yeah. You're just gonna hand him. You're just gonna hand him the keys to this car, and he's gonna hand you some money, and you're just gonna go opposite directions. Yeah. And you're gonna do this alone? Yeah. Jess, people don't just get murdered in truck stops. It's fine. She didn't appreciate that at all.
She's been spending too much time watching crime dramas on TV.
She loves Law and Order SVU. So she just assumes everyone gets raped and murdered all the time.
Katie does the same thing.
Yep.
And like she just finished watching all of Criminal Minds.
Yep.
And now everybody's a serial killer.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah.
I'm just like, Katie, that's not how the world works.
He's from St. Louis. He has to be a murderer. That was her logic.
Well, that's probably statistically true, but that's different.
But yeah, so it was a Friday night. I loaded the car up Thursday, got home from work, loaded just hooked up to the trailer and took off. And the guy's like, actually kind of worked out. He's like, yeah, we got caught in a storm. We'll be about a half hour late. Just like getting through traffic in St. Louis took longer than we meant. I was like, perfect, because it took longer than I thought it would too. So we get there, and I'm
weird.
I'm like skirting a storm the entire time down, thinking if this guy is superstitious, he's not going to buy the car, because the old saying, never buy a car in the rain. So I'm thinking like
I've literally never once heard that in my life.
You've never heard that?
No.
Oh man, I've been told that, like I've heard that like my whole life. People saying you never buy a car in the rain because everything looks good soaking wet. I don't know.
Never heard that in my life.
Superstitions are stupid, but like as I'm driving down, I'm like, I hope this guy isn't superstitious. Like oh, it's storming. That's a bad sign. I shouldn't buy this car. It's like I'm driving down, skirting it the whole way down. It's like kind of raining to my left the whole way. I'm like, just stay over there. I don't want any part of it. I don't want this guy to be superstitious. And I get there, I get unloaded, I back the car up in front of the gas station, and I wait, and he shows up probably 15, 20 minutes after me, and this is kind of where it got weird. And so he gets out of the car, we do our friendly little introductions, and I show him the car, and he walks around it and kind of points out some like cosmetic flaws that we knew were there. He's like, oh yeah, it's got the paint peeling on the gas lid, because that's like a thing. It's like they're notorious for that. And he's like, hey, have you ever had this bumper off? I'm like, no, I've never had the bumper off. He's like, oh, maybe this this tab looks like it's broken. I'm like, yep. And they're like, the stuff's peeling on the wheel, the chrome's peeling on the wheels, and like here's some other dents. Like the hood's not painted with good paint. Like you can tell it's like shitty like single stage paint. So like just kind of walk around the car, and gets in the car, starts it up, and of course it does that like not start thing. So it like turns over.
Of course it does. Why wouldn't it?
Like doesn't start. Then he bumps the key again. It fires right up. Idle's great. He doesn't even rev it up. We go back and forth a little bit. And he's like, haggles with me for another $500 off. And I was like, I'm already here. I'm not bringing this fucker home. And
right, he knew that too.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll meet you in the middle, and we'll cut $500 off. And I'm still super happy with it. And he's like, okay. And then he goes, yeah, but this is where it gets weird, because he didn't test drive it. He didn't pop the trunk. He didn't pop the hood at all. What?
So this is like a thing people do though, but like I don't
get it.
Man.
Like
no, I don't.
I'm expecting to spend like a half hour to an hour just like cruising around this small town, of like him understanding like how this car drives. Does it overheat? Do the brakes work? Does it stall out and die every time I go to a stop? Like, it doesn't do those things, but like, does it even have an engine? Am I lying to you, telling you that it's a 6.0 when really it's a 5.7? He didn't even look. And I was like, oh yeah, I got the engine covers and like all these white line bushings that the car came with that I didn't install. They're all in the trunk. The spare tires in the trunk. Never popped the trunk. Never even like looked deep into the like everything. I don't get it. How do you buy a car that expensive without test driving it? His test drive was a 3-hour drive back to St. Louis after he'd paid for it.
So he didn't trailer at home?
Nope.
Oh my god.
Him and his girlfriend showed up in a pickup, like a smaller pickup, I think it was a Frontier or something, something like that. That doesn't pull.
Yeah.
No trailer. Just he was driving it home. So
okay.
And then it gets even weirder. So like we agreed on the price, and he goes, okay, yeah, the bank would only give me 20s. Okay, didn't really think about it. No, the bank only gave him 20s.
That's a lot of 20s.
It's so many 20s. I sold the car for $16,500, so I have $16,000 in 20s at a gas station in the middle of Missouri. And then so he's got $16,000 in 20s and then $500 in 50s. No hundreds whatsoever. So I'm sitting in the front seat while he's filling out like the bill of sale stuff, and I'm trying to count it. And I can't even get through the first stack because it's $2,000 in 20s. And there's 8 stacks of them.
Just losing track.
Yeah, I'm just like 10, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 10 or 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 300. And like I'm going through it and I'm like, I'm lost. Start over. Flip through it. Okay, it's all there. Like, it's all real. Okay, next stack. If he's going to trust me enough that it drives and doesn't test drive it, I guess I'm going to trust him enough that it's real money.
Yeah, fuck it.
So I was like, I tried counting all of it, and I couldn't. It was all there, every last penny. But in the moment, I'm like, I'm not going to spend an hour and a half counting this. And I'm not going to go inside and put this on a table in front of people and then count it out, like slow-hand it.
No, hell no.
It did cross my mind because the people that were running the till were like kind of closing up for the night, so they were running money through their money counter. It crossed my mind to say, hey, can I borrow that?
I'll give you an extra 20.
I'll hand you cash if I could use your little money counter thing.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, and like when you have that many 20s, you hand it over in an entire garbage bag full of money. Just, here you go.
No way. Give it a garbage bag?
It's a Walmart bag.
Should have given it
full
a briefcase,
full of 20s.
Robbie.
It was a Walmart bag full of 20s.
He had an opportunity and he missed it.
Yep. And it
could have been a briefcase moment.
And like when he said
or at least like a gym bag.
Yep. No, when he described it, I was like, fuck, did he just bring me a roll, like $20 rolls, like a drug dealer? I mean, they're at least banded from a bank and signed and stamped, and like they were as legit as it gets. But like, man, am I really gonna have to count out $20 rolls? So yeah, then Jess is like super sketched out. She's like, so you're driving for the next 3 hours with that kind of money in cash, and you're on your seat next to you. Yeah, you're not stopping, are you? I was like, well, if I have to get gas, maybe. And then, of course, like I missed like the way it splits off. I ended up going like through. I was following the roads to Des Moines, not the roads to. But really, I need to go to Norwalk because the way I was coming up. So I ended up going like kind of like 5 miles out of my way, and then ended up going like through like Pleasantville and like Southside Des Moines. I was like, this is a lot of driving I didn't feel like doing. Oh well, I knew where I was going.
I mean, what do you do?
But yeah, so it was so weird. Just the weirdest thing that like, what bank only gives out 20s?
Yeah, that's where I'm at on it.
I mean, my bank accepted it, so I mean, it's all I care about. But
did she like look at you weird?
I had to fill out a form. Yes.
Yeah. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's like. Well, then I wanted to like hang on to some of it and use it to buy parts for the Z. I didn't want all that. I didn't want all those 20s.
Right.
Oh, here I got to buy this. You know, we'll just pick a thing. I'll buy this $1,000 ECU. Here's $1,000 in 20s. It's so weird.
It's funny.
But yeah, it's just that's a lot of paper.
Yeah, it is. It's very strange.
Yep. But yeah, like it's been a couple weeks. He never texted me, never called me again. Because the guy that bought the 240, he'll text me from time to time and just like asks things about it that like.
I think he's a listener.
I think he is now too.
I think so.
So I mean that's it. Every time he did, I'd always cringe like, oh, fuck, where's this going? And it's never been bad, but like because he actually like had problems with the engine, and I'm thinking like, okay, here it comes. He's gonna blame me for this. Never did. Like it's just one of those things. Like every time you get a message from a previous or someone that you sold something to, I always like, oh fuck, where's this going? And it's never been bad. Like so that's I appreciated that, but like for the first week or two since when the GTO left, I'm like waiting for that first text to say, hey, this is no good. Never got it. It was just crazy to me that he bought it, no test drive, sight unseen, just left. All good.
Yeah, that's risky maneuver. It's
a lot of trust in a stranger.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not even I'm pretty quick to trust people, probably more than I should, honestly, which is probably something I shouldn't admit on a podcast. Like I said. But that's more than I would do for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping he's satisfied with the car. I'm hoping it's everything he thought it was. I mean, it was a fair price. I mean, it's mechanically sound, and everything else is just cosmetic shit, which I assume everyone's going to change. Like, everything that I had a problem with on the car, I assumed were things they were going to change anyways. Like, those shitty wheels. I assume whoever buys it's going to change those. The shitty tint. I assume whoever buys it's going to change that. You know, just little things that really weren't going to affect the value too bad. So, I still think I sold it for more than I would have got out of the 240. So, win-win.
Cool.
And I got
to check that off the list.
Yep, drove it for a summer. And she rowdy. It's a fun car. It's a ridiculous car, but it was fun.
Which one do you miss more?
Neither.
No?
Yeah. I think I got a lot of memories with the 240.
Right.
But I still have those memories, even if I don't have the car. So I don't necessarily miss the car. I enjoyed having the GTO as a car to drive every day, but I didn't love the GTO enough to wish that I had it every day. In fact, I would like to have a beater car to drive to and from work, like a $2,000 Mini Cooper or a Nissan Hardbody, you know, like just a little 5 or 6 speed small car to drive to and from work. Doesn't need to be a 410 wheel horsepower GTO. You know, it's a fun car. I don't need it.
I get that.
So yeah, I mean, I like them both. I had a lot of fun in both. Don't miss either one of them at all.
That's fair.
And I mean, if I didn't have the Z, then I'd feel like really empty. You know what I mean? Like I.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think that would change
as
things.
a guy who has not had a fun car in years.
I think I think that's where it's at, because I have the Z. That's where all my focus is, and it doesn't have to be a specific car as long as I have one. So I think if the Z was sold, then I'd have a problem, like emotionally, like I'd feel empty inside more than I already feel every day.
Right. I'm not even going to argue with that.
Yeah, that's it. It's just the GTO's gone. I got cash in my pockets. I got a few things I want. I got Road America coming up for the Z. That's ready to go. Picture. Yeah, the Z's ready. Actually, a week early, which is really weird, which probably means I forgot something really, really, really important. My biggest concern going into this weekend is not the track itself, because I feel like I'm more likely to take my foot off the gas and not take the risk than. So I'm not necessarily scared of the track, even though it's like a really daunting fast track. My biggest concern is that fifth gear still grinds going into fifth. So there's got to be something wrong, misaligned within that transmission, because it's not that I'm not grinding synchros. I'm grinding the shift fork into the gears, and that's aluminum, so it just wears away at the fork. Well, the only way that fork can hit those gears is if that rod that it rides on is misaligned or broken, and all that shit's brand new, and it's still doing it. So my only thing I can think of is that where it interfaces with the plate, where all the other like the gears and stuff mount, the mounting, whatever you want to call it, mounting plate, or the bell housing where it lines up on the other end, or the casing rather, something on those channels that it lines up with is wrong. So when I go to shift, it puts force in a way that puts it, instead of going up and forward and backwards, it's pushing it out and up into the gears. So I got to do a real diagnostic on that. Like literally, as soon as I get home from Road America, that transmission's coming out and getting torn apart again. I got to figure out what piece is misaligned, broken, whatever. So my only fear is that I'm going to get not through the weekend because I'm going to lose fifth and sixth again, like I did at Ginger.
Right.
And that's not really an option at Road America.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
So I'm just gonna if I'm noticing that's, it's better than it was, but I'm convinced that I'm gonna end up having to replace that fork and that rod again. Before, obviously, over the winter sometime. So hopefully I can make it through the weekend and actually do all my races and then have to replace it rather than having to miss a race because of it. So yeah, I need fifth gear at Road America.
Yeah, maybe even sixth.
Probably, yeah.
Have you ever been in sixth in that car?
Not on track.
On track?
No. The 240 I was at not Heartland Park, Gateway.
Gateway.
Yep, that's what screwed me up, because I never expected to be in sixth.
Right.
But this has the taller final drive gears, and so yeah, I usually spend most of my time in fourth, a little bit into fifth.
Huh.
So
yep. All right then.
Yeah, should be ready to go.
Cool.
That's all I've been up to. And then
go ahead.
I was just going to remind everybody to head over to apextrackcoach.com, get their Gen 2 units. They have some in stock. I guess mine is in the mail, and I'm really, really excited about it. I got the tracking number, and it should be here before Road America. And if it doesn't get here, it's not their fault. It's the post office's fault. So I don't want to say it'll be here, because I don't trust the post office anymore.
No, God, no.
It takes forever. But
these are facts.
They shipped it in time for it to be here for Road America, which means I get to actually use a Gen 2 this year. And I'm really, really, really excited about it.
Fucking Robbie.
But yeah, if you want to get yours, order it on their website. Use the code 10/10ths. Get 10% off, and you got to add the window mount, so you basically get that for free and then a little bit of a discount. And then also, if you don't have a Gen 2 or even a Gen 1 and you want to just kind of check it out, use their app, which is free, and use it as a lap timer. It's not quite as accurate because it uses your phone's GPS, which of course is only so accurate. But it gives you an idea of the type of data that you can pull and start to do some reviews with that, and then kind of get that first dip your toe into it without having to spend any money. And then once you realize that how good it is, you're obviously going to want to get the Gen 2 unit and then use our code. That's apextricoach.com.
Perfect.
Yep.
One thing I forgot to ask about before we started the show that I wanted to talk about, totally not related to anybody who's listening to this except you, Robbie.
Good.
Is this going to get loaded on Shout Engine? That's where we're at, right?
Yeah, still for one more episode.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So we have always used Shout Engine as our podcast host. And basically since the time we started that, they've been kind of sketchy, and we are finally making our transition to Anchor as our podcast host. I'm like 85% certain that I can make that transition without screwing anybody's subscriptions up.
Yep.
But there's a possibility that that's not going to be the case on all of the random players out there. So regardless of who you're using, if in the coming weeks our show isn't popping up automatically, go and double check that you didn't get unsubscribed when we made that transition.
Yep. Yeah, I think this should be the last one that we upload to Shout Engine, and then everything moving forward will be on Anchor is the plan.
Depending on how quickly they get back to me.
Right.
So just a note to everybody, if we aren't showing up in your podcast player of choice automatically, make sure to search us and make sure that you didn't get unsubscribed from our RSS feed, because I'm not 100% sure how it all works with all of them. And if you have trouble with it or you're not finding us or anything like that, shoot me a message and I'll see if I can figure it out.
Yep. Yeah, I remember when we were getting the original ones set up on a bunch of different platforms, like Google pulls it a different way than Stitcher, than iTunes. So
yeah, and a lot of those things have changed since we did it, so I'm going to have to probably go case by case and figure out how to make sure that we're in every place we currently are.
Yep.
If it doesn't transition as smoothly as we think it will.
I'm predicting that Anchor is going to be better set up, that it should be easier than it was originally.
Yeah, so, but yeah, if there's any troubles, let me know, and I'll see if I can do what I can to take care of them from the back end. So something I wanted to mention.
Yep. Just so we don't get all these angry texts like we do every time we miss a show.
Yeah. We're just fucking the fans for 6 weeks in a row.
6 weeks,
bro.
No, man. We got 6 episodes. You missed them.
Yeah. So, Robbie, do you have a closer?
I do have a closer. And
oh God, we're actually doing this.
Everyone liked it or hated it. Or hated it.
Well, I think a little bit of both, maybe.
Yeah, everyone likes controversy.
Yeah.
So we want to argue.
I just don't understand why Daniel can't use a dishwasher.
There's how many correct ways is there to use a dishwasher?
There's like a million correct ways.
No, there's one correct way, the right way.
God.
There's one way to load a dishwasher, Adam. Everybody knows this. That's not where I
don't think that's true.
I have a friend that's like, he will die on that hill. His wife will.
What do you mean the correct way? I don't understand. Like, because it's different for each dish.
The water has to be able to get to every part to clean it effectively. You can't just throw dishes in there and expect it to be clean.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
So I got a friend at work, and his wife will just like throw shit in the dishwasher and say, no, water gets everywhere. And he will literally take all of it out and put it back the right way. I'm more in line with him. There's one way to load a dishwasher. It's the right
probably
way.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, as long as water gets on it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Topics that I have been suggested to bring up that will stir controversy.
Okay. Let's just do like one or two of these. Let's
do one. We'll just do one.
Okay.
Adam. What is the best candy bar?
A Payday.
What?
I don't like chocolate, Robbie.
What?
I don't like chocolate.
Payday?
So like that makes it really hard for me because I don't eat chocolate at all.
Yeah, but if that's like chocolate with things makes it better. Like chocolate by itself, like a Hershey bar, I'll completely agree with you.
I don't like chocolate.
Don't you have like caramel?
Why eat Paydays? Yeah, there's caramel in the Payday.
Is Payday just
peanuts?
Is Payday just the peanuts stuffed over marshmallows?
It's like a big. No, not marshmallows. It's caramel. It's just caramel.
Which one's the marshmallow?
It's just like a big like log of caramel with peanuts stuck to the outside of it. I'll bring you one next time because I always have a bag of them.
Which is the one with the marshmallow? But it's the same idea, but it's got like peanuts and marshmallow.
That's a nut roll. A
salted nut roll. Which is the equivalent of a Payday, just with caramel.
No, with marshmallow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're the same thing.
No, Paydays are way better.
No, they're not. Nobody likes Paydays. I'll eat it, but I don't like it.
We're superstitious. We're incredibly superstitious at work, right?
Of course. Who is
about really random stupid shit. And a long time ago, we realized that every time I bought a Payday before a night cut, it would go smoothly. And anytime I didn't buy a Payday before a night cut, shit hit the fan. And so now every single night cut we do, and last week I had 2 night cuts that went south on me. Forgot to buy a Payday for both of them.
Dang it. That's because you eat something horrible, and the rest of the day has to make up for that.
They're not that bad. They're just caramel and peanuts, man.
Yeah, but
they're packed with energy. That's why I buy them.
No, those are Cliff Bars, and they're equally as full of sugar.
Oh, those are that's not a fucking candy. Well,
it is a candy bar. A Cliff Bar is a candy bar.
You're right. But that's probably got chocolate in it. I'm not gonna eat that crap.
Oh man, that narrows it down real fast if you don't eat chocolate at all.
Yeah. To basically Paydays.
I was waiting for you to say like Butterfingers, and like, no, those are terrible. They get stuck in your teeth.
Yeah, I have a lot of that problem too.
Yeah, because the peanuts will get. Man, Payday. I was not expecting that. I thought we'd like kind of somewhat agree. I forgot you don't eat chocolate at all. It's like
what is yours then?
Like Snickers is the gold standard, but that's still not my favorite.
Everybody says Snickers.
Yeah,
that's lame.
I like Milky Way because I like the caramel. And Three Musketeers are pretty good. But like if I'm spending my money on a candy bar, not like trolleys, like gummies and stuff, I'll probably get a Milky Way. Otherwise, Reese's is really good. I like Reese's. I have a sweet tooth, but if I'll eat a Hershey bar, but I'm not gonna buy it.
So my go-to candy, if you're not talking about candy bars,
I was bars, but we talk whatever.
My go-to candy, frozen Reese's Pieces.
Delicious.
Gotta be frozen.
Frozen Charleston Chews are where it's at too.
It's amazing to me how much better a lot of candies can be made by just simply being frozen.
It's because ice cream is delicious, and if you freeze a candy bar, it's kind of like ice cream, like an ice cream bar.
There's almost always a bag of Reese's Pieces in my freezer.
Yeah, I don't do that, but yeah,
and I'll just open the freezer, grab a handful, put the bag back in there, and eat them.
See, that's why I don't do that, because I wouldn't grab a handful. I would grab a bag, and then it would be gone.
No, I have not nearly as much of a sweet tooth as you do.
I have no self-control with candy. It's a struggle for me. I go into a gas station. I'm on a road trip, so I'm like a 9-year-old with my dad's wallet. So like I walk to it's fucked up too, because I'll walk back to like what I want to drink. I'm like I don't really want another Mountain Dew. I don't want that much sugar. So I'll get the logic is so backwards. So I'm like, so I'll get like this, like a 0 calorie, like a body armor, or like something like,
right,
air quotes, nutrition,
and then a bag of gummy worms. Or like some other like just like a $2 bag of just candy. I was like, I didn't want that much sugar, so I didn't get a Mountain Dew, but I bought this bag of candy, which is at least double that. I used to love Gobstoppers.
I like Gobstoppers,
but the older I get, the less often I eat them, because I swear I can feel my teeth rotting out of my mouth.
Yep.
When I eat them.
I have really good teeth. I've been so lucky. For someone that has like the worst sweet tooth in the world, I've had like no cavities ever. It's crazy.
I'm a mouth breather. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah, I did.
But apparently that's really hard on your teeth.
Really?
Instead of breathing through your nose, you breathe through your mouth, and I think it dries your mouth out a lot more or something. I don't know, but apparently it's really hard on your teeth.
Huh.
So I have decent teeth given the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not the best.
You know what candy bar is like surprisingly good that nobody eats? I think it's called the Take 5. It's got
I've heard of it.
It's got like a chocolate casing, and then it's got like caramel, and it's got like pretzels in it.
Oh, see, that's great.
It's pretty good.
For a while there, Hershey's was making. So I'll occasionally eat a white chocolate thing.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of white chocolate.
Not that often, but occasionally. And for a while there, they were making this like Hershey's bar that was, I don't remember what they called it, but it had pretzel bites in it.
Yeah.
Pretzel pieces in it.
I know which one you're talking about.
I think it was like gold or something like that. I don't know, but it was really good. I enjoyed that for the short period of time they were making it.
Yep, those are good. Yeah, I'd say, gun to my head, I'm going to go with Milky Way.
Payday is life, Robbie.
No.
I have one or two of them a week. There's like a Halloween bag of paydays in my kitchen right now.
I am going to have to buy candy for the neighbor kids in the next coming weeks. So
I am the neighbor kid, so I don't have to buy candy.
I won't get them paydays. I want these kids to like me, so I don't want my house.
Are you a full size candy bar house?
No. But I do buy enough that, like, let's just say there's 30 neighbor kids. There's going to be like 200 pieces of candy in my bowl. So, like, I basically tell them just take a handful. So it's the equivalent of one.
I'm about the only person in the neighborhood that has a kid.
Yep.
So we go to everybody else's house, and I don't have to buy candy. It's great.
They do like a hayride here. So, like, all the kids get on the hayride and they drive around and then they like stop at everyone's house. But I'm pretty sure they bring a bunch of kids from like not the neighborhood. Because there's no way.
I was going to say 30 seems like
way there's 30
boatload of kids.
But the hay rack is literally riddled with kids. Like, you can see how sticky it is from far away because there's so many kids on it.
They're probably coming from those rich bastards down there at Polo Run or whatever that place is called.
Polo Point?
Where they're always running horses back and forth.
You playing polo?
I don't know.
Yeah. They haven't done that in a while.
I don't know. A couple times I'm on my way out to your house, there's horse trailers out front, like in that big grassy area as you enter the gated area.
Yep, that's just their like practice field. Apparently there's like a really nice one somewhere else. I'm not a polo.
Wild,
I'm not a polo person.
Shit's wild.
You
think cars are expensive?
Yeah, horses are expensive, man.
At least between events you can just park your car and pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, or when I'm sick of it after a race, I can just close the door and not look at it for a week or 2 or 3 or 4.
You get in real trouble if you do that with a horse.
Yeah, they call the cops.
Well, the horse doesn't.
No, somebody does. Yeah, you can't just leave it alone. Yeah, that's unethical.
No. Yeah.
Well, the controversy this week on the group will be whose has the worst taste in candy bars.
Oh, it's going to be me for sure.
Obviously. But the best part will be when everyone attacks each other when they agree and disagree on paydays and other candy bars. So if you are not currently on the 10/10th Consortium Facebook group, you are missing out on literally the only reason to have Facebook besides Marketplace. I'm not joking. It is literally the best group. It is basically drama-free except for these stupid controversies that are for fun. There is really no bullshit. And that's like literally, like, I've gone through and like deleted a bunch of groups that I used to be in, and ours is like the only one that I truly enjoy. So the 10/10th Consortium, it's for fun.
Yeah.
Otherwise, find us everywhere else, and hopefully our podcast will be on everything as it should in a couple weeks, and hopefully you don't notice anything, and that it's all just flawless. And I will say I'm going to catch you next week, knowing I don't know when we'll catch you next.
I don't know.
Because we got Road America coming up that following weekend, so usually the week before an event, it's kind of a challenge. So.
Normally my boss already has my work schedule. Like on Friday afternoon, he'll dump a bunch of tentative things day by day onto my calendar.
Yep.
He didn't do that this week, and I don't know if that's good or bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a surprise, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
Yep. I should be good to go. If we have the time, I should be able to make it. Oh, no. It's my anniversary on Tuesday. Fuck. I should probably start planning that. I already told the board I'm skipping the SCCA meeting because I cannot skip it, or cannot skip my anniversary for the SCCA meeting for obvious reasons. But I should probably plan something, huh?
Yeah, you should probably do something.
Maybe there won't be a podcast. Or maybe I'll have all the time in the world, you know?
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Anyways, we'll catch everybody else next week, probably.